Well, good morning. How are you all today? And welcome to American Reversion. I'm Steve Smith. I'm talking a little quietly because the rest of the family is still asleep. But I want to talk about this thing down in Texas at the border, the truckers' convoy, and whether or not it's a setup. I've had a lot of people, and not just on this. I've heard a lot of people talk about the possibility that this truckers convoy headed from Texas down through Arizona and into to Texas is a setup, and also the fact that it's a lot smaller than it was anticipated to be, or built up to be, or hoped to be, and all that. So I do want to address this. Is there a possibility that this the situation down there is a setup to draw in people and to have a repeat of what happened up in at the picnic in D.C.? Yes, it is. It absolutely is. Is there a possibility that it started out, legitimately, and then was infiltrated by agents provocateur and such as that, as a large intelligence operation? Yes, it is. Is it possible that it was started actually as a counter, you could call it a counterintelligence operation, in order to suck people in, a big old setup? Yes, it is. Any of these things are possible and probable. The thing to understand is that dealing with things like this, people will compare this to chess rather than checkers. It's not chess. It's multi-dimensional chess, and it's dangerous to assume that you'll be able to figure out the answer at all. Let me put it that way. And don't assume that, and don't assume that it's simple. There could be so many things going on in this deal. I could make a video for an hour and not be able to cover them, and it's not important to cover all the different possibilities, simply to point out and have people understand and consider that any possibility is possible. Okay. Now, if you want to, it would be silly for an adversary not to try to infiltrate, any kind of operation. That's just a given. It's going to happen. But also consider this, that very often you can paralyze a movement, or you can diminish the outcome or the turnout almost as well by simply making people believe that it's been infiltrated as actually infiltrating it. Okay, you understand my meaning there, right? And it's a lot less dangerous. And now it kind of depends on what the purpose of the counterintelligence operation is, as to whether it's to just suppress the movement or whether it's to actually glean information from the inside. And of course, the two can work against each other. Let me explain just shortly. I'm not going to get into a lot of detail on this. If you want to suppress it, you can do so simply by making everyone believe that it's infiltrated, and so people don't want to be, they don't want to be tagged. They don't want, their cell phones to come up. They'll know everyone who's there, everyone who has gone from California or Arizona or any place else in the country. The powers that be will know who's there. And they'll know, if they want to know, who's within 10 miles. If they want to know who's within 100 miles, they'll know. Okay, because of the thing that I'm speaking into now, that everyone carries. So if they want to cast a large net and get as much information and it's, not just individual information, but network information. Who's close, and you know what I mean by this, right? Who's traveling together? Who's meeting up together? Who do they see, close with each other, in the larger movement? So if they just want that, they don't want people to think that, or they don't want to promote the idea that it's been infiltrated, because that would keep people away, and they want as many people there as possible to get information. However, as many people there as possible, that creates a more a larger challenge in case things start heating up, right? But then again, they're ready for that. So as you go down this road of endless possibilities, there's really no way to figure out what's going on and what's the truth. Okay, but if you want to infiltrate it, you want as large as possible a crowd. Okay, because then your people will be more easily blended in. If you want to keep the crowd down, you put out the word that it's been infiltrated, and that's going to keep everybody home. So you understand where I'm going with this. Here's the thing. Our purpose here, and your purpose, I mean, the purpose of most people who want an American reversion, or to make America great again, or to turn America back to the basic foundational principles. Sorry, it's early. It's common. We are not after violence. I mean, what can happen. But our preference is certainly no violence, but to bring things to the attention of people and to create such a groundswell that people will understand they need to pay attention to our united voice, and not just those that we're wanting to change their policies, but to other people in the country, to people who we are wanting to influence and bring over to our side, because it really is it's a war of information. I mean, that's what's going on and will go on down at the border. It's a war of information. They will be collecting information, and other people will be giving information, right? And so you have to balance that. How much information do you want to give? Because they want to know it all. So while we have a preference for nonviolence, and I'm going to say right now that is the best way to do it. That is the best way to do it. We know that things can explode, and we also know that the other side can use that, as I said, agents provocateur, as they have done in many other places, to cause problems, to cast, negative thoughts on us, on our side, on those people who want to take America back to the way it ought to be. So what I just want to make everybody understand is that this could have been started. I don't necessarily believe that, but it could have been started by the shall we say the competition. More likely it was started grassroots by our team, but infiltrated by the competition. It's just the way the game is played, and they will not just try to collect information to be used later, but they will try to blow it up, to whatever extent, and it could be a little bit, could be a lot. And here again, we don't know. That's the important thing to understand. You don't know, and there's no way to know. And how do I say that? Because I was in the monster for long enough to know. Okay, there's no way to know. So you'll have people that come out and just kind of make statements. This is such and such, or this is such and such, or what are they don't know. You know, we know generalities. We don't know specifics. We don't know specific tactics, techniques, or purposes. And you might say, well, we know. No, you don't. No, things change so often because everybody learns. See, you look at a football game and you see that what happens in the second half is not always what happens in the first half. Why? That's because both teams learned, right? And then they had a meeting and they said, that wasn't working, let's do something else. And that was working, and do this, whatever. And that's how, that's how learning, organizational learning, affects tactics and techniques, and sometimes even purpose. So anyway, those are my thoughts. I'm watching with interest. I wish the best for everyone down at the border. I hope for their safety. There is no doubt, and I don't want anybody to misunderstand that I'm saying don't be involved in these things. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is be aware of what's going on. And there are ways to kind of, there are ways to minimize your exposure, let me just put it that way, okay? And here again, I can't even give into specifics on this. Many of you will understand, and you'll be able to think about these things yourselves, and others won't, but I'm sorry, I can't explain it any farther. It just wouldn't be prudent. So I'm not saying at all don't be involved in these things, because people do need to be involved in these things. I'm just saying understand that it could be there could be so many pieces to this puzzle and to this machine that's grinding away down there that there'll be no way to know. So every person has to do what they think is right, what they're called to do. Whether you're called to be involved in something like that directly, whether you're called to simply spread the word in your opinion, and for instance, like sharing this video, making videos of your own, that's important. This is an information war, okay? And as if we can win it, we won't have to fight a different kind of war. This is an information war, and this is the war we want to win. That means this is the war we have to be involved in. We have to be committed to 100%. And it needs you to be a part of that, not just an observer, not somebody that just watches this video, but someone who will, like I said, share this video with as many people as you can. And get out there and talk to people yourself. If you don't think you know the issues well enough, learn about them. Learn about the issues. But really, it comes down to right and wrong. You know what's right, you know what's wrong. And share that. Too often we lose, or we try to catch up because our side is simply not as vocal or as demonstrative or as forceful as the other side in expressing their opinions, because we tend to be, polite and law-abiding and things like that. And that's why we lose very often, okay? So get out there, do your part, whatever you feel that part is. Understand that things are far more complicated than almost anybody would be able to explain on a video, certainly. And even if I sat down like in the old days, and I sat down around a table and talked, to a group of other people who were just as hip to the situation as I am, we discussed the possibilities of what might be going on, we would have a lot of great ideas and no positive conclusions. That's the name of this game. That's why you have to get out there and work the information and fight the information war. So, okay. You all have a good day. Prayers with those people down there on the border. We need to solve that problem, and do what you can for it. And remember that America needs a reversion. It needs you to be a part of it. It needs me to be a part of it. And it needs the good Lord to be a part of it. So seek His guidance and seek His protection. Seek His ways. And if we're seeking His ways, His blessings will follow. Okay. You all have a good day. I might talk to you later today, but we'll see. I'll talk to you at least tomorrow. Have a good one. Share this video. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.